Hello guys, welcome to Interchange 2 Unit 3, Making Changes. In this unit, we will see houses and apartments and some adjectives to describe them. Also, we will compare and evaluate using adjectives and nouns, and we will see how to make wishes. Let's begin. The following adjectives are used to describe houses and apartments. Let's see some of them. Bright, full of light, shining. Comfortable, relaxing and free from pain. Convenient, suitable or appropriate for a necessity. Cramped, limited in the freedom to move because there is not enough space. Dangerous, likely to cause harm or death or unpleasant problems. Dark, with little or no light. Dingy, dark and often also dirty. Expensive, costing a lot of money. Huge, extremely large in size or amount, very big. Inconvenient, causing problems or difficulties. Modern, designed and made using the most recent ideas and methods. Noisy, full of noise or uncomfortable sounds. Private, only for one person or group and not for everyone. Quiet, having little activity or excitement and few people. Run down, in very bad condition. Safe, not dangerous or likely to cause harm. Small, little in size or amount when compared with what is typical or average. Spacious, large and with a lot of space. Now we will listen to a family comparing their new apartment with the old one. Let's listen.
Unit 3. Making Changes. Page 16. Exercise 2. Perspectives. How's your new apartment? Part A. Listen to a family talk about their new apartment. Which opinions are about the building or the neighborhood? Which are about the apartment?
I don't like living in an apartment. We don't have as much privacy as we had in our old place.
I just can't sleep at night. The neighbors make too much noise. The building isn't as quiet as our old one.
The new apartment is too dark and too hot. There aren't enough windows.
Our new apartment isn't big enough for our family. We don't have a big kitchen anymore, so cooking is difficult.
The location is just as convenient as the old one, but there aren't as many good restaurants around.
Evaluations and comparisons. Evaluations tell us an opinion about one thing, and comparisons talk about the differences or similarities between two things. For example, apartments aren't as private as houses. In this case, we say that apartments aren't as private as houses because houses are more private. There is more privacy in houses than in apartments. Before we start the grammar, we can see here some adjectives and some nouns that we can use when we describe or talk about houses or apartments. For example, for the adjectives we have safe, expensive, convenient, small, big, old, modern, inconvenient, private, dingy, bright, and dark. For the nouns we have space, privacy, lights, rooms, windows, bathrooms, parking spaces, noise, safety, rules, and freedom. Evaluations. Remember, when we evaluate, we tell our opinion about something. In this case, we are evaluating using adjectives and using nouns. For the adjectives, you use the verb to be, is or are, or the negative forms isn't and aren't. Now with nouns, you are going to use have or has, or there is or there are. Now we are using enough, we are using too much, and too many. So too much and too many represent an excess. We use too much, too many, and too with negative adjectives and negative nouns because they represent an excess. Now we use enough with positive adjectives and with positive nouns because enough represents sufficient. For example, this apartment isn't big enough for our family. Apartments aren't private enough for couples. This apartment is too hot. Apartments are too inconvenient for pets. With nouns, this apartment doesn't have enough lights. Apartments don't have enough space for kids to play. There is too much crime in this city. The neighbors make too much noise. If you notice, we are going to use noise here and crime with too much because too much is for negative things and crime and noise is negative. Now here we have too hot and too inconvenient. These are negative adjectives, hot and inconvenient. Now pay attention to the position of enough. If you have adjectives, you mention the adjective before enough. Now if you have nouns, you mention the nouns after enough. Check the example. Enough lights, enough space. But when you have an adjective, you mention the adjective before. Big enough, private enough. With too, you always mention the adjective or the noun after too. Too hot, too inconvenient, too much noise, too much crime. We use too much with non-count nouns and too many with count nouns. We use too with negative adjectives. For example, too much noise, too much crime, too much contamination, too much trash. Now with count nouns, too many people, too many criminals, too many cards. Now with too, negative adjectives. Too bad, too noisy, too dirty, too dangerous. Comparisons. Remember, when we compare, we talk about the similarities or the differences between two things. Here we are comparing using adjectives and using nouns. For adjectives, we use the verb to be, is or isn't or aren't. For nouns, we use have or has, or the other option is using there is or there are. So here we have as much as many as, or as. When we say as, we are saying that it's the same, the amount is the same. There is no difference between the two things. For example, if I say, I am as intelligent as you, it means that our intelligence is the same. One person is not more intelligent than the other because our intelligence is the same. If I say, you are as old as me, that means that, for example, I am 25 and you are 25. So our age is the same. That's why we say as with an adjective in the middle. As old as me, as tall as me, as intelligent as me. So in this case, we have as much as and as many as. With as much as, you use non-count nouns. And with as many as, we use count nouns. For as, we are going to mention an adjective in the middle. So let's see some examples. This apartment isn't as bright as the old one. If you say isn't, they are different. Now if you say is as bright as the old one, they are the same. So in this case, it depends on the verb to be. If the verb to be is positive, they are the same. But if the verb to be is negative, they are different. So this apartment isn't as bright as the old one. Apartments aren't as private as houses. This apartment is as beautiful as the old one. Apartments are as expensive as houses. So in this case, this apartment is as beautiful as the old one, it means that they are the same. The old apartment and the new apartment are beautiful, are the same. And apartments are as expensive as houses. It means that both houses and apartments are expensive, that there is no difference. Now when you say this apartment isn't as bright as the old one, it means that the other one was brighter. It had more lights. And if you say apartments aren't as private as houses, it means that houses are more private. You have more privacy in a house. Now with nouns, we use have or has, there is or there are. For example, this apartment doesn't have as much privacy as the old one. Apartments don't have as much space as houses. This apartment has as many bathrooms as the old one. And the last one, houses have as many problems as apartments. So if you say as is the same. So this apartment doesn't have as much privacy as the old one. But when you say doesn't, it means that it's not the same. So the other apartment was more private. If you say apartments don't have as much space as houses, it means that houses have more space than apartments, because you say don't here and you are saying doesn't. This apartment has as many bathrooms as the old one. If you say as many as, that means that they had the same amount of bathrooms. For example, in the old one you had 3, and in the new one you have 3 too. And the last one, houses have as many problems as apartments. In houses and apartments you have problems, so there is no difference. So if you check, as much is used with non-count nouns, privacy is no-count noun, and space is no-count noun. And as many is used with count nouns. For example, bathrooms and problems. Those are count nouns. This is a conversation for Unit 3. In this conversation, we have two friends. They are discussing about changes that they would like to make in their lives. So let's listen to them.
Page 19. Exercise 8. Conversation. I wish I could. Part A. Listen and practice.
So, are you still living with your parents, Dylan?
Yes, I am. But sometimes I wish I had my own apartment.
Why? Don't you like living at home?
It's okay, but my parents are always asking me to come home early. I wish they'd stop worrying about me.
Yeah, parents are like that.
Plus, they don't like my friends, and they won't stop criticizing them. I wish life weren't so difficult.
So, why don't you move out?
Hey, I wish I could, but where else can I get free room and board?
For the second grammar, we have wishes. What are wishes? Wishes are things that we want to happen or things that we want to have. Probably our reality is different, but we would like to change it. We would like to do or have something that we don't have right now. So those are wishes. Wish. We can use wish to talk about something that we would like to change in the present or the future. For example, I wish I lived in another neighborhood. It means that right now I live in this neighborhood, but I don't like it. I would like to live in a different place. So I use wish and the verb in the past form. I wish I lived in another neighborhood. To create wishes with the verb to be, we have the subject plus which plus the second subject plus where plus the complement. The first subject is the person that makes the wish, and the second subject is the person that is affected by the wish. So in this case, we are using where. Where is the past of be. The past of be, but you have to use where for all the subjects. We, she, he, they, we, for everyone. You're going to use where for all the subjects in this grammar. So let's see some examples. Here we have the reality. I am poor. I am very heavy. My house is ugly. My father is very strict. So we want to change these situations. We want to change these situations. So we say, I am poor. I wish I were rich. I am very heavy. I wish I were thin. My house is ugly. I wish my house were beautiful. My father is very strict. I wish my father were less strict. To create wishes with a simple present, we have the subject plus which plus the second subject plus the past verb plus the complement. Let's see the reality and some examples. The reality. I lived in a boring city. I don't like my job. I don't have my own room. I work a lot. So let's see the examples. I lived in a boring city. I wish I lived in an interesting city. I don't like my job. I wish I liked my job. I don't have my own room. I wish I had my own room. I worked a lot. I wish I didn't work a lot. So if you see, we use the verb in the past. To create wishes with the modal can, we have the subject plus which plus the second subject plus the modal can in the past, which is could. The past of can is could, plus the verb in the base form, plus the complement. For example, we have the reality. I can't dance salsa. I can't speak Italian. I can't travel to Dubai now. I can't move alone because I don't have money. So let's see the wishes. I can't dance salsa. I wish I could dance salsa. I can't speak Italian. I wish I could speak Italian. I can't travel to Dubai now. I wish I could travel to Dubai. I can't move alone because I don't have money. I wish I could move alone. So if you check, what we change is the modal can for could, which is the past. To create wishes with the modal will, we use the subject plus which plus the second subject plus would, which is the past of the modal will, plus the verb in the base form, plus the complement. Let's see some examples. Here we have the reality. I will not graduate this year. I won't pass the test. Remember, won't is will not. My mother won't let me go out. My father won't buy me a new cell phone. So, for the wishes we have, I will not graduate this year. I wish I would graduate this year. I won't pass the test. I wish I would pass the test. My mother won't let me go out. I wish my mother would let me go out. And the last one, my father won't buy me a new cell phone. I wish my father would buy me a new cell phone. We change the verb, the modal verb, will, for would. Remember, with can, we use could. With will, we use would. And with the verb to be, we use were. We use it with all the subjects in this grammar. Here we have some exercises with wishes. For example, here we have the reality, and here we are going to write the wishes. So, the first one, I am poor. I am poor. That's with the verb to be, so we have to say, I wish I were rich. I wish I were rich. For the next one, Paula is very short. Paula is very short. So the answer is, Paula wishes she were tall. Paula wishes she were tall. In this case, we conjugate the verb wish with es because we are talking about Paula. Paula wishes. And the wish is for her. So she wishes she, or Paula wishes she were tall. The next one, this is with a simple present. I live in a bad neighborhood. I live in a bad neighborhood. So the answer is, I wish I lived in a good neighborhood. I wish I lived in a good neighborhood. The next one is also with a simple present. So the answer is, I wish I had a lot of money. I wish I had a lot of money. Or I wish I had money. I wish I had money. The next one is with the modal can. So we say, I wish I could speak Italian. I wish I could speak Italian. And the last one, I will not pass the test. I will not pass the test. I wish I would pass the test. I wish I would pass the test. Well guys, that was everything for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.